principle in Japanese culture called Ikigai. Ikigai, which means when you wake up this morning, what is it that you really want to do, not what somebody else wants to do. Ikigai.
I feel like this could be a nice shot, and then I'll sit down on the front porch like I'm establishing. My name is Brooke Giles. I'm 29. I turn 30 in a week. Welcome to my house. We got some new flowers today.
We all have a journey or an origin story that begins when we're born. No one is alike, yet we have to make meaning of our experiences to find what we love. Tanner Mack is a Salt Lake City-based climber who primarily establishes highball boulders. Highball bouldering is when an athlete climbs over 15 to 20 feet without any ropes, which inherently makes it riskier. What's particular about what Tanner does is he approaches boulders that have never been climbed before and has put up at least 50 first ascents in the Salt Lake City and San Rafael Swell area.
My name is Tanner Mack, and originally I'm from southern Arizona. Grew up in Mount Lemmon, a 9,000-foot mountain just outside of Tucson, Arizona.
Tanner is someone I met through the grapevine in the climbing community, and in recent years we've crossed paths, and he has a kindness and care for what he does and for the people around him that made me curious to know more. So I invited him to sit with me and chat about his origin story.
Well, originally I moved to Salt Lake in 2020, and I was like very competition based and focused, and that was like a main goal of mine, was to kind of qualify for the US team and like take that pipeline and explore climbing that way. And then through like quite a series of events, I come to leave Salt Lake and come back, and where we're particularly sitting is where I like kind of reclaimed Salt Lake as like home for me, where like I found peace and expression with like what I could do. And yeah, like this boulder is like a place that's like home for me. So it's like welcoming you into a home that I get to like share with people.
Has it always been bouldering, or
no,
has
like,
it been others as
yeah,
well?
like I grew up competitively, and that was like the big scope, and so I did a lot of sport climbing and a lot of bouldering as well.
Coming up and like getting to know each other, I hear you started as a kid. Like, tell me about how early was that?
Totally. So I started when I was 6. The general contractor who built our house, we had a big fire in the town I grew up in, and it burnt down the entire town, and he was the contractor that like rebuilt most of the mountain that I grew up on. He didn't have a harness that would fit me, so he made a little webbing harness for me that would like fit my tiny little body. And I don't even think I got to the top of the wall. Like I just kind of swung around and got really scared, and like kind of had like a heinous experience. Like didn't love it, to be open, but I was like, this is cool. Like I really like this.
My favorite question is like, if you could divide your life up into chapters,
Sure.
like what might those title cards be?
The first would be like discovery, you know, up to that 9, 10, 11, really having fun and just playing around with my friends. And then 11 through 16, a serious turn took, and I started competing a lot, as in like trying to become national champion. And then when I was 16 through 18, I got to travel. So it was like another age of discovery for me. I got to go around the world and rock climb, and steered me in definitely the direction that like I am today. And when I graduated when I was 18, it was like, okay, like I didn't feel like I had a lot of other skills, and I wasn't super good at school. And I kind of was like, well, like you made your bed, lay in it. That chapter is work. And so from like 18 to 20, I knew I needed to be stronger and pursue those goals. 20 to 22 was kind of like rage, like a lot of like raging, like trying really hard boulders and like trying to like climb V15, V16, like these like heavily pursuative and like performance. And then I quit climbing when I was like 21, 22. I like stopped for a year. And that chapter is definitely like sobriety.
When thinking about living a purposeful life, there was another friend in the community I was interested to learn more about. Fischer Olpin is the owner of Fischer Designs, where he makes handmade bike bags for the community within Salt Lake City. Originally, he was known for his adventure tall bikes, which got him recognized by bikepacking.com, and he has since gone on to grow Fischer Designs and clock thousands of miles, bikepacking across New Zealand, Japan, and other locations globally.
My name is Fischer Olpin. I am 28 years old from Midway, Utah.
Fischer is a recent friend, which happened by chance. On a whim, through an email I sent asking for him to join me on a bike rafting trip in Oregon. I was surprised he said yes. I was curious to know how Fischer came to be and what his life prior was that led him there.
What is Fischer Designs?
Fischer Designs is a local company here in Salt Lake City that I started 4 or 5 years ago. We started making bike gear, fun handmade gear here in Salt Lake City, Utah.
So you're spending a lot of time outside. Has that been consistent
Yeah.
throughout your life? Tell me about that.
Yeah, so I grew up here in Utah. My parents were never big on video games or anything like that, and so they said, here's a mountain bike instead of an Xbox, and it's one of the greatest gifts I was ever given in my life.
How did that get started?
So I started Fischer after I graduated from Utah State University. I studied in their outdoor product design and development program. Slowly started sewing and creating products that I wanted to use on my personal bike rides. People were stoked about them, and I had a couple friends reach out and want bags for their bikes, and slowly turned Fischer into a bike packing and bike bag company.
Tell me about Fischer Bike Co. What's going on over there?
Yeah, this is a piece of art that my dad framed up for me, and you can see here back in the day I was sitting in my dad's documentary studio he had, and it was just sketching in my sketchbook, and I drew this up, and I had no memory of this at all. And then a couple years ago my dad gave me this, and I was just like, what? And he's like, I think you've had this idea for longer than you thought. Fischer Bike Co. has turned into Fischer Designs. This was a pretty impactful thing for me to see, and just like kind of a reassurance in my life that like I'm taking the right path.
Are you ready?
We look at our past to understand the present and maybe anticipate a future. I wondered about Fischer and Tanner. I wanted to know what stories they were told of what was possible, or what pain they carried with them to get them where they are today.
You started making bike bags. Prior to that, you were in design. No, you weren't in design. You were going for engineering.
Yeah, I did a year of engineering, and towards the last semester I had a pretty bad bike accident, and that kind of affected my ability.
Okay, let's jump to the bike accident.
Yeah.
Tell me about it. What happened?
I had two back-to-back accidents that were pretty major. So the first one was a bike accident. It was a rusted out front fork that just like and went like that, and my face just was the first thing to connect. Like, we went and found the bike later. It was at the police department, and we were looking like, did I get hit by a car? Because no, I didn't remember anything. It was a bystander that found me on the side of the road, like covered in blood, and no memory of it whatsoever. Then went and started my summer job down in southern Utah. I was working on my uncle's ranch down there, and I was down there building a fence. I was on a four-wheeler, and I had a shovel on the four-wheeler with me, and I was making a hairpin turn, and the shovel handle hit the throttle of the four-wheeler, and it sent me flying over a cliff. And I remember jumping and trying to grab a gate that was hanging over the cliff, and after that I just woke up and I was in my aunt and uncle's house, and I was calling for my aunt, Kristen, I need help, I need help. And I had split my head open from about middle forehead all the way back to here, and it's just dripping blood everywhere. And yeah, it's just, I don't know the extent of my injuries. I don't know if I'm gonna live. And yeah, just like, it was a very like scary moment, and life flighted me to St. George, and I had a full head split down the middle all the way to the skull, and then I broke 4 vertebrae on my back. It gave me a lot of time to think. I had a lot going from being really busy to just like downtime of just like, I'm in bed, I don't have much to do, I'm just trying to like figure out what I'm doing with my life. Just coming out of my first year of college of engineering, and I had those two accidents were within 2 months of each other.
How does it feel to recount your life and reflect?
I don't know, it's something I think about often, and like, I think about like, had these accidents not happened, had my life gone a different way, would I be an engineer? I had to fall off of a cliff to realize what I wanted to do with my life. Like, it's kind of crazy, but yeah, it definitely helped me and pushed me in the right direction, I feel. So my story, I wouldn't change it, because I probably wouldn't be where I am today without it. So
It seems that Tanner and Fischer are living a good life. Like, one that is like joyful and with purpose and has meaning. And I wanted to understand what was behind the veil. There's a chapter we have in here called Confessions. Are you ready? Are you ready to enter into the box?
Confessions, yeah. The pain cave.
Yeah. Let's enter into the cupboard of memory for a moment. Tell me about what led up to you quitting.
One of the most hollowing days of my life made me understand that I needed some space from what I was doing. It was 2021. I was in like a really serious relationship at the time. My best friend had just come out and visited in like the spring. And so I like had this like beautiful relationship with like dogs and a home and this life that I felt like I was building, and I had this friend that was like my brother growing up to me. And then that summer he passed away, and I got like pretty stricken with grief, and didn't do a good job of dealing with it. And it was like a really big toll on my partner at the time. It was like violent in our home, like breaking things, and really angry with the world and with life, and was like still like heavily pursuing this goal, and it was like the only thing attached that I like had like cemented in the world. And I came home one day and the house was empty, our dogs were gone, and I like never heard from that person again. And didn't know that I was a broken man yet, but I just like poured everything I had into climbing. I like poured all that I could exist into training and trying this specific goal, and so attached to it. And then that winter I went and I did that rock climb. And my attachment to expectation of what that day looked like was so heavy. I thought that those people would be there. I thought that I would have this like really heroic moment where I like did the goal and like achieved the thing, and I like drove there alone and did it and felt nothing. It was like the saddest day of my life. And after that I got like really addicted to Xanax and like crush them up in the gym and like snort them in the bathroom and like session, and like just super checked out, and you know, was like training because I knew that like I wanted to still rock climb but had no goals, like had nothing, no direction. I had no friends, I had no compass, and it's like taking a lot of psychedelics at the time and just kind of like K-holing myself, and started going to the swell and like running a lot, and I would just like do a bunch of drugs and go run until I'd have to like crawl myself out. And it's like really passive moments of just like suicide where I was like really hoping that like maybe I just like don't survive this, like that maybe this is okay. I moved into a house with a roommate and I was like stealing weed from him and just like becoming so far from what my like true character was. And I went out to the swell and I had like a really serious suicide attempt where I like threw myself off a cliff and was like really hopeful that I wasn't coming back, and woke up a couple days later and was like, well, like holy shit, I'm alive, like this is crazy, sober. And I was like, something needs to change, like it's time for me to like fix this. So I like decided I needed to leave Salt Lake. I didn't know if I was coming back, I didn't know what it meant for me. But I packed up all my shit and drove home to Arizona, and that's kind of where like the next chapter of like sobriety begins.
One thing that is easily overlooked in our world is the fact that we all carry our own story and pain, and rarely do we ever get to see what those tender spots or insecurities might be. But when the conversation is open, you hold it gently.
It's not often we get to see like the emotions of being absolutely terrified. Let's go behind the veil. Like, what have you been afraid of as you've been leading up to this?
That's a good question. The fear of failure can like be the thing that makes you not start something. Like, I don't want to start this because what if I fail? Like, kind of like taking the risk of like starting my own company, not knowing what was going to happen. Am I going to be able to pay rent? Am I going to be able to live? And I feel like that has been a big thing that like I have in my life, is like not starting things because I feel like I'm going to fail at them.
Okay, what I remember from this story, and I want to hear it again, it was the first of its kind for you. How many miles was it?
The total race was 650, but I did not make it 650 miles. I'll say this, it was the first time I had ever done a more than one night bike trip. And I get to the starting line and my bike looks like I'm gonna go do 10,000 miles across the world, and everyone else's bikes looks like they're going on a bike race. They're all super ultra light, and I'm like, I have my tent and stove and sleeping pad, and these guys are no stove, no tent, maybe an emergency bivvy, and I'm just like, I am not supposed to be here. But I started the race, and I think I made it 3 days into the race. So like I had never done a more than one night bike packing trip, and was 3 days into the race, biking more than I ever have in my life, and was just cooked.
I swear, every road we get on just goes forever. Like, look at that. That thing never ends.
Day 3, I'm just like, have saddle sores. I'm like in so much pain. And I wasn't even halfway done with the race.
My butt is wrecked. It is not looking good for me, team. Not sure if I've got it in me.
And I was like almost dead. I was probably dead last at that point. And like, I felt like such a failure for pulling out of the race, but it got me so stoked on biking and like doing long trips and kind of having the mindset of like, I can do these trips. This is something that I can do. I just need more preparation.
A vision for the future is born when we butt up against the thing we think is impossible, or our history. And then we look past it to make something new.
I have a big piece of art somewhere, I don't know where it is, and it's just the words "just start," and it's like that's like a big thing for me, and like for Fishki, for anything like that race, for life, it's like just start. Don't worry about what's gonna happen. Just start and like make it happen.
Is there anything you want to add?
I think you gotta go out there, live your life, follow your passions. You got one chance at this life, and you can make or break it in any way that you want. It can be the big magical thing, or you can just kind of scrape by, and I think it's all a mindset, and it all is something that is kind of in your heart and in your mind of like, do I want to follow my dreams? And I think that if you have the passion for it, that people should follow their dreams and make their life what they want it to be.
Love it.
Goof around, create something, tell a story, do something fun.
Talking with Fischer, it was fascinating to see that all of the worries he had starting a company or a race, there's risk and vulnerability. Just on the other side of that, however, we might find the pursuit of the thing we love. Fischer is now someone who serves the community, not only in making bike bags, but also in education and sharing with others what he's learned along the way. I wanted to return to Tanner to learn how he moved through his own challenges as a professional climber, on the cusp of deciding whether a life was worth living.
So I checked myself into an outpatient program, and I wasn't climbing. I was like training a little bit, kind of like knowing that I would want to return to this thing at some point, and didn't know what that looked like. Didn't know if I would try to compete again or whatever, and started training at the gym I grew up at, like being around the community I was with, and it was crazy. Like they all knew that like life was heavy for me, but I don't think they all quite knew like what that looked like. And a year later to the day, I packed my stuff up and I moved back to Salt Lake, a sober man who had started rock climbing again and was like doing it alone, like for the love of the game. Just like
Rebirth.
Yeah, I was just like this, like I remember why, like it felt like a kid again. Like it felt like this like thing that I was like playing with again and rediscovering, and just like these spaces that I could like enjoy and use to like exist and like go scream and like be angry and like be upset and like take those angry like feelings that I had and just have a space to exist with them.
Yeah.
And yeah, it offered me a place to like come back to like my true character, you know? Like, I feel the most alive, I feel natural, I feel raw, I feel happy, I feel bliss. Like, I live for those moments. And so it's like, okay, if you want to be alive, go live for it. It's like, that's what's next. It's like
Yeah.
living, good living. Gently thrashing is this era that I'm in now, where I've found a way to understand my intensity and understand my emotions, but do it with like the softest touch, and like feel like I'm interacting with my environment and like just dancing and experiencing and just living, instead of forcing these experiences to come to me. And that's being like a more patient person. Attachment without desire and desire without attachment. It's a really tricky one, and I definitely have not found that balance, but that's what I'm looking for. I want to be able to desire things greatly but not be attached. I want to be able to have a little bit of attachment but not desire that, like, have to do it in the specific way.
What is the legacy you want to leave with the purpose that you've chosen?
I mean, to start, I used to say legacy is built every day and claimed on few. If you have the vision and you have the dream, give yourself permission to play however you want.
Yeah.
You don't need nobody else's permission. Like, that's what I hope in any bit of legacy I have is. It's like he went and played it however he wanted to.
Yeah. Oh, I love that.
I don't know, you know, like, there's still shame that I have with my past, but that's part of, like, love. It's part of being a villain.
What does love have to do with it? Does love have anything to do with it?
Love has everything to do with it. Like, we all do this, like, out of love. Like, love for myself, like, love for this place. Like, being transparent about our past and taking ownership of when we were, like, making mistakes and when we were the villains of our life, that's, like, where we grow. Like, that's where we can understand. Like, you don't need to be proud of them, and you probably shouldn't be. I'm not proud that I was, like, an addict, you know. I'm still an addict. I am a recovering addict. It is an everyday choice. Like, there's definitely times where I just want to go bar out and, like, not give a fuck about anything. But, like, I do it because I love myself. I do it because I love this place. Like, I do it because I love my community. Like, love is everything.
It's really a beautiful thing to see new builders of narratives that don't exist yet. And just, like, peek inside.
I think the secret we all keep from ourselves is that we are scared. And there are things we'd rather keep in the closet. Maybe our purpose is found in giving ourselves permission to play and to be scared and do it anyway. If we're lucky, we'll find the same in the people around us.
So we continue this process that we've been inspired by all these great masters and mentors. We practice 25 hours a day. It's a long and arduous journey, and one that we accept